Oh, it'll show up. There it is. Look at it. We're cooking. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the DLLS Cowboys Podcast.
Podcast!
It's a new week. Jesse loves shouting out the first person who comments even before the show starts. We got a big one for you today. What is the must-have for the Cowboys on this NFL draft? And then we got the beat little Cowboys scoopage coming up for you as well. All of these things are coming at you. Meow. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to today's DLLS Cowboys Podcast. Should have been a cowboy.
There you go.
That was back when.
Horse, ride a cowboy.
No, don't do that.
That's not a good song?
No, I was doing Toby Keith back when he was good. You picked a bad band. I forgot. They're not good though. TC, who does Save a Horse, Ride a Cowboy? I'm gonna die to start the show. Okay, I was allergic to that song. Welcome, everybody. It is a Magic Marker Monday. We're going to use them later, though. Not right now. But we have magic markers and whiteboards. The whiteboard.
What?
Why can't there be a blackboard?
Because then we'd have to
ain't
get
got no chalk.
markers.
When I was in school, we had blackboards.
We ain't got no chalk.
When I was growing up,
I ain't
we
got
had blackboards.
I ain't
It's
got
true.
no chalk. Although I did eat Fun Dip the other day, and that stick is kind of
Blackboard.
chalky.
Clean
You
that
can chalk
backboard.
that. You can chalk that.
All right, we're getting into the Cowboy things of the day. Welcome in, everybody. My name is Jeff. Next to me is former Cowboys wide receiver Jesse Holly.
Oh, Jesse Holly went 77 yards. It must be a reality show.
Shout out to all the young ladies that came out this past weekend in the Girls Flag Football League. We're officially starting this Saturday. This Saturday, did a scrimmage last week, a jamboree scrimmage last week. Over 65 teams in the DFW area.
Was Vanita there?
Vanita wasn't there, but she'll be there next week.
What the hell?
She's been there for the last 18 weeks helping us, but she had to do another event, but she'll be.
Well, she had the national team thing. They were,
Yeah.
I think it was like the tryouts.
Yeah, so she was busy, but
Welcome to the women's flag football show.
yes, the
It's good to see
flag,
y'all.
women's girls flag football here in DFW. Shout out to my boy Danny McCray for heading this thing up.
Next to Jesse is the greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys. He has scoopage today. It's Clarence Hill.
Where legends drop. Clarence Hill just can't stop.
I'm going to twerk to this later.
You gotta hop in club pop.
Yeah.
Shout out to all the young ladies that follow us in the chat
What?
on
Dude,
Twitter.
what?
What's your mama look like?
What?
Well, he said shout out to young ladies. I'm just saying. we
Yeah,
got-
and he had a legit one, and then you're coming in all just creepy
Do
on a
what's your
Monday.
Mama look like?
Do we not have young ladies that follow us on here? We had a young lady that tweeted she got her carrying card. Remember last week? The young
that's-
lady?
that's my girl,
Shelly?
Shells.
Yeah, that
I mean,
was
we
awesome.
got young ladies. Shout out to the young ladies that
Shout out
love
to Shelby.
DLLS.
What's your
Shout
mama
out to
look
Shelby.
like?
Yeah. Next to Clarence is the other greatest beat writer in the history of the Cowboys, Joe Hoyt.
Tell him something, Joe.
And I'd like to shout out the young men that are watching this. As the last person that I've been hanging out with that was a female, this is why I appreciate the young men, because they make us look good.
Oh,
The last person that I started to date, somebody that she was friends with, saw on her Instagram, she was like, and he was like, Jeff Kavanaugh follows you. We get points with the ladies because the dudes like us.
oh,
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to being famous. Shout out to the shout out. Michael's in the super chat. How funny
Better
be
be
funny.
funny.
is it going to be when the Cowboys trade back with Seattle and draft Grant from Michigan in the first and Loveland from Michigan at 44?
Wow.
I don't know if it'd be funny. It'd be a pretty damn good draft,
Yeah,
actually.
I don't hate that at all.
18 might be a little. Well, I mean, he's a nice nose tackle prospect.
Oh, I forgot. Shout out to the coach from Brian Adams. He's the head coach at the girls flag football team. He's a listener. And so
How
nice.
long has he been the coach of Brian Adams?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I played with a guy in Abilene that went to Brian Adams, and he was an irresponsible human.
Wait,
Wow.
It's the first of all,
It's
it's the coach of a
Girls flag
flag
football.
football team, so he probably wasn't coaching back.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
it's not the
The football
men's
coach.
high school football
no,
coach
no,
coaching
no, no,
women.
no, no.
No.
Okay.
No. But he is a listener of the show. Loves the
Okay.
show.
Does the women's flag football thing pay to coach?
The school gives a stipend, yes.
Oh, nice.
Because I'm a Hall of Famer at flag football. Like I can draw this up for him.
You could coach.
Call Plano. Call Allen. We don't have a team from Allen.
I don't like Allen.
Oh.
Allen doesn't like me. They don't claim.
That's
Allen doesn't
probably
like
a good
you.
reason why.
Well, Dirk likes us.
Dirk's in the super chat.
out,
No
Dirk.
questions. Just feeling generous since I got my carrying card this week.
Yeah.
Dirk, you son of a bitch.
Let's go, Dirk. Welcome to the club.
I don't like any of you that get
we
your
don't
carrying
have
card.
access to.
I'm trying to get that diehard
Well, your
carrying card.
name, they named you Dirk. Your mama named you Dirk before Dirk Nowitzki came to Dallas. I just want to know.
AllDLLS.com/diehard is how you sign up to be a diehard. Now's a good time to do it because then you can sign up for our golf tournament on April 25th, and you can do it at a discount because diehards get a discount, 20% off. What, Clarence?
Dirk Nowitzki?
Nowitzki.
Yeah, that's Dirk. Yeah.
I'm just making sure. Was he named? Is he older, or did he come after Dirk came to Dallas and mama named him after Dirk?
There's a lot of kids in Dallas named Luca right now.
It's a great question. I'm going to audible on how this show is going to work today right now because we are 7 minutes in and each segment has an allotted amount of time, and I believe the allotted amount of time needed for what is the must-have for the Cowboys needs more than the amount of time allotted. So I'd like to skip ahead to segment 2 and do it in segment 1.
I like it.
I call this We've Got the Beat.
We got the beat.
We got the beat.
Writers. And I would like to introduce Clarence Hill with whatever scoopage he's willing to share because he gave us scoopage. I don't know how much he's willing to give you, but he gave us scoopage.
Well,
I'm still not over last week. Let me just get that
You
off my
should have
chest.
went out with Micah.
I'm just not over that. I'm still not over the fact you weren't here, Joe.
Okay.
But old Pop here, the one who hangs out the most out of all of us, had a prime opportunity to go out and hang out with young millionaires.
Parsons, Osa. They invited him to the after party.
What's the cornerback, the safety from Derwin James?
Tyreek Hill.
And you know Tyreek Hill keep
what?
Fertile ladies around him.
Wait. You didn't go to this?
No, I'm just saying.
No, it's fine.
Fertile.
I'm doing this.
You didn't go?
And he went home.
To work.
This is the same guy that told me that he
Get him,
used to
Joe.
just go to any single place to get the story, to get the scoop. He'd
Oh,
go
yeah.
anywhere. He'd go anywhere. And you turned down a
What
bird
type-
in the hand?
What type of example are you setting for Joe?
I look up to you.
The guy who was trailing in your footsteps, trying to grow himself in this, he looks at a guy like you for some level of guidance.
Get
And you
him.
had an opportunity to go out there and get the scoop of all scoops, and you went home because you were tired.
You don't sleep
No.
anyways.
Get
Get him, Joe.
They say Law Nation was there. Law was trying to get me out. I was there.
No, you were at the event.
You were
I
at
was
the event,
there.
but-
He talking about the event.
The event, you were there.
He was trying. Yes, I was
But
at the
after
event.
the event, where all the exclusive really happened.
Man, I don't report on that after stuff. Do you think I'm supposed to? He said, "Yes, I'm almost 40. I was named after someone from the A team." Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. Got you.
Dirk from the A team.
Scoop us.
Yeah.
I'll have 2 scoops, please.
But now, go ahead.
Don't talk about what's
They
going
might
on
have just
after.
got no, but not what happens.
You don't
after,
know what
after,
happened
after.
at the after.
But they could have been like, you know what, man? Let me tell you what it really went down with my agent. Let me tell you what really went down with this in the locker room.
and you could
That
have told
part-
me,
yeah.
and I could have hinted at it without betraying sources.
This is also the man that goes, confidentially, my sources say, and then go tell what your sources say.
And so now that's where confidentially we some of the beat writers met with Mike McCarthy last Friday.
What the hell are you meeting with Mike McCarthy for?
We've been trying to meet with him, and he's been trying to meet with us since the departure, since the end of the season, and we could never get our schedules connected right because the Cowboys had something or he had something.
Did you
and
go
because
clubbing with
weather-
Mike after?
No, we met at Mikasina.
Oh, so y'all drank.
We drank, had some
Mambo
drinks, and
taxis.
had some fine Mexican fare. Mike McCarthy picked up the tab.
Oh, Mike.
Good on him.
Mike.
Few beat writers just kind of did our little walk off the record type thing, and one thing I want to know that he wants to let everybody know that he's good with how things ended with the Cowboys. He had a chance to come back. He chose to walk away.
What do you mean he had a chance to come back?
Well, I mean, it's been reported he got offered.
Okay.
He got an offer. It wasn't written offer, but there was an understanding offer on the table for him to take if he wanted to come back. And he walked away from it. And he's good, and his family's good, and they're actually going to move back to
Green Bay.
Green Bay. They're going to finish the school year here and then move back to Green Bay. But he's a volleyball dad, and his youngest daughter's a club volleyball player. But
Do they ever play at Club Pop Pop?
they don't play club pop, they play club volleyball. But he's good with how things ended with the Cowboys and feels good about his tenure. Obviously everybody's lamenting the injuries and everything else, and we're lamenting the lack of adding people to the roster during the offseason.
Oh, he's talking some crap on his way out?
No, he did not.
I like
crap.
that.
He didn't talk crap. No crap. He was good with Jerry. They still good. He said when he was going, this one thing that I think that's interesting, that Jerry offered him use of his private plane to go on job interviews, like Chicago or wherever else. He used his private plane.
Yeah, I mean, if you're filthy rich, there's no reason not to let other people.
Well, I'm just saying, but it tells you about the relationship.
Help destroy the
Tell you about the
ozone
relationship
or whatever.
Just talking to some other people. I talked to some other coaches. Just at different venues. And I was trying to get some insight into the new defense and how they're going to use guys. And one thing someone told me was, because this attacking defense. I'm like, how are you going to stop the run going to the quarterback?
So wait, we're shifting, right? We're done with Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to actually shift to where you're trying to shift to because that's the third segment of the show. So I'm going to stop you right now, and then I'm going to breathe.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to do the segment.
Can I intervene then?
My bad.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. It better be interesting that there's an alternate reality where Mike McCarthy is still the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
But in that alternate reality, and we've talked about this, we've reported this, I don't think that he would have been the play caller in this alternate reality. I think if he came back, I think that there was intrigue in making Brian Schottenheimer the play caller. That was one of the first things I heard when the idea of Mike McCarthy potentially being out came up. Was, hey, I heard they really like Brian Schottenheimer as a potential offensive coordinator guy. And this is something, when you asked Mike McCarthy about this during the middle of the season last year, I believe it was Todd that asked him, like, hey, offense is kind of struggling right now. Any chance that you potentially give up the reins a little bit to your offensive coordinator, Brian Schottenheimer would be the play caller? And he got very, no. That's that will not be happening.
Well,
but hell no.
Well,
hell no.
I think that there are two things, because Schottenheimer probably wouldn't if McCarthy came back.
That's true, though, too. That's true, though, yeah.
So I know that he would have two different coordinators.
That's a good point.
That's one thing, that if he come back, he would have to start up with two different coordinators.
Yeah. Long story short, if there was the alternate reality, it would have been a lot different than just Mike McCarthy, everything running back, I think.
Yes. And, things were hard with Zimmer. I would say this, that the Zimmer that was promised was not the Zimmer they got.
Yeah, and Zimmer talked about that, too, though.
He admitted that.
Yeah, I'm just saying that. Yeah. Because I remember in the offseason talking to Jerry, Zimmer going to be that hard a-hole type guy, really going to.
At camp, I didn't really hear Zimmer. Like, Skanina's yelling at everybody. Zimmer just kind of chilling.
Right, and that's not what they thought they were getting. And this is, grandfather Zimmer. You grow up, your parents was hard on you, and then they get grandkids, they let them eat ice cream at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't like that at all. I don't appreciate that, Mom and Dad.
They kicked our butts. But the grandkids get eat ice cream at 10 o'clock, and let's leave that baby alone. You didn't do me like that.
No.
It's kind of like being promised, like, that Clarence would go to after parties to get exclusive details, and then you got the guy that didn't do it. So,
Yeah. I remember when I used to have to go out in the yard and pick my own switch.
You ain't come from that.
You definitely come from that. You did not come from that background.
Man, you don't
pick my own switch.
You don't come from that.
Pick your own switch.
Don't even start.
We know.
And I had to be careful to pick one that was thick enough. Because if I didn't get one that was thick enough,
you didn't pick your own
man.
Dad would go
Stop,
pick.
man. You don't come from that. You don't come from that.
You don't come from.
You come from Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you will go to your room. Jeffrey, I'm gonna count to 5.
Jeffrey, what's your middle name?
Jeffrey, 5, 4.
What's your middle name?
Jeffrey, when your daddy gets home,
He's going to ground you.
you're gonna be grounded.
We will take the computer out of your room.
Yeah. Shut the Wi-Fi off.
Richard's in we didn't have Wi-Fi yet.
Dial-up's
Richard's
going
in
down.
the super chat. Many good SC Gamecocks being slept on. Rocket Sanders, Nick.
I like Rocket Sanders a lot.
Warrior. I forgot. his
That's
last
not a
name.
warrior.
Not a warrior.
Emma Worry.
Let's just go with it.
I forgot. He's gonna get picked like in the first round. Ain't nobody sleeping on him.
Emma Worry.
DT,
Emma
please talk
Worry.
about them. You just want. Okay, we'll do it.
Emma Warren.
He's won some gang. He's won some South Carolina.
Okay,
love.
sure. Go Cox. That is what they say.
Yeah, they
That is
say
not
go
awkward.
Cox at South Carolina.
I like
That's
Special
what they
K.
say that when we
Jeff
gotta
knows
say
too
it.
much about our
Pause.
history.
All
Coming up next, what is the must-have for the Cowboys in the NFL draft? We need yours in the chat. We also would appreciate a like and subscribe button. That'd be real nice. That's what's coming up next.
That's good. They say it.
Opening day is around the corner.
Thursday.
The college football thing that happens during this month that we aren't allowed. All this is happening. Oh, no, wait. This is
football thing.
Yeah. All this stuff is happening. Yeah, the college basketball.
The thing.
The thing that's
The
happening.
tournament of teams playing hoops.
Right.
Yes.
The
All
big
of us-
games.
In March.
All of us up here,
Ethan.
all of our teams are on the couch. Your team didn't even qualify.
There were some people at the the volleyball bar last night. They were big Colorado State people, and they hit a 3 to go up with 4 seconds left. And and then they got buzzer beaten, and MFs walked straight out.
By that walk.
Yeah, whatever. But if you want to be a part of this opening day, basketball, NBA, whatever it is, you need to download the Game Time app. Use the Game Time app, and you can get $20 off your first purchase by simply using the promo code DLLS. What time is it?
Game time.
Woo! And once you save all that money, because you get your tickets with $20 off at Game Time, go ahead and turn around and put that $20 into the Sleeper app. You know what I'm saying? You might turn that thing into more than that. Love the Sleeper app. DLLS Boys is the promo code that you need on that Sleeper app. And once you use that, it's going to get you the hookup. You're going to the play 5, get 55 is what you're looking at. So you'll get $55 in free entries when you place a $5 contest. All you're doing is you are deciding whether certain players in whatever sport you want to deal with are going to have more or less than their projected stats each week. You can do some hoops.
Anthony Davis is coming back, baby.
Anthony Davis. I don't think they'll list injury on there, but you would say more than 0.5 the rest of the way because they'll have 1, and then they'll shut him down. But you can do points, rebounds, assists. You do baseball. You got baseball coming. You can do strikeouts, hits, total bases, whatever. And you make those picks. The more you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Just make sure you use the promo code DLLS Boys on the Sleeper app. All right, Cowboys must have. As we are approaching the NFL draft, we're just over a month away.
No, exactly 1 month.
Exactly 1 month.
Exactly 1
Exactly 1 month.
Oh, so I'm golfing on day 2?
Day 2.
So
So you're 1 month and a day away
I'm
from
doing a
golfing.
whole ass golf tournament on day 2 of the draft?
Oh, yeah.
Damn. All right. Well, make sure you get signed up. alldlls.com/diehard. Send to be a diehard to get you 20% off in the golf tournament. Sign up. It's April 25th. That's on the same. I'm not going to be able to golf.
You can golf, but you won't be able to do what you normally do.
You're
when
out on
you
a golf course.
Well, day 2, we're going to be
No,
able to-
it's the morning. So you do the morning, and then the draft's at night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Be sure to tune in for day 2 of the draft coverage right here on DLLS because I'm going to be hammered.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like
I'm going to be turned
That's
up.
what. That's
How
why.
many fireball
that's
shots
why,
are you gonna be
That's
in?
what I said.
How many holes are
you
there?
can golf,
18.
but you
9.
normally can't do what you normally do at.
I think you do
Golfing.
it, and then we'll just roll.
Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Yeah, I think I'll get in a nap and I'll be hungover for day 2 of the draft.
Also, TC, I put something in the Slack. If you could eventually get that on the show, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Nasty.
Okay, so I'll just throw it out to the panel. Must have as we're creeping towards the draft. They've signed a bunch of guys in free agency, but they are not done. They do not have the team that they need to go try to win the NFC East, much less the Super Bowl. So when you are looking at this thing and you're saying, all right, there's something we got to get done, what is it?
I want to put a caveat on that. I want to say must have, got to get done, but that particular player has to be an impactful starter. Like that, I think
Has to be an impactful
has
starter.
to be an impactful starter.
Can I caveat your caveat?
Caveat it up.
It's all a bad idea. Saying what you have to have and it has to be an impactful starter, that's how you go pick a position instead of a player, and that's a terrible idea. That's how you miss.
So this is how you get Vontae Mack too from draft day. This is Vontae Mack no matter what.
This is how you get Taco. It's how you get Mozzie. It's how you get
I like
Guyton.
tacos.
You go in knowing you need a position.
The taco thing was you was because they were inflexible about the player. Because at the end of the day, really, they had no vision. Because they had no vision.
Because they needed a defensive end who had put his hand in the dirt.
Right. But
Needed it.
yes, but
that was preference though.
but they had no vision about.
But they were picking a defensive end.
But my point is, they had no vision about nickel defense and how much you have to pass
Sorry?
rush. They had no vision. T.J. Watt gets to the quarterback like nobody's business.
Oh,
You
yeah.
don't pick. You don't pick a defensive end over an edge guy when they're based on second, third down. They play in the same position. They both going out to the quarterback.
Yeah, covered that. Yeah, I remember covering that draft.
That's
I've
just
had
no
my
vision.
misses. I've had my misses. But boy, when they picked Taco and TJ Watt was on the board, I was like, they're idiots.
Yeah. So I'll jump out there first because I'm really more about player than position because I just don't know how you can target a player when you really don't have control over who you pick.
That's why you got a must-have. You just go get them.
So to me, I think they have must-have positions, and I know that you get in trouble with must-have positions.
But we
because then you
caveated it.
pick-
We caveated it. Now
I'm
we can
just
go.
saying that at some point in the draft, they have to show up that defensive line, the defensive tackle position has to be. They have to come at some point in this draft. I'm not saying the first round. I'm just saying they need a defensive tackle. They need to shore up that tackle position.
So you and I had this conversation earlier about the word semantics, right?
Yeah.
Because shoring up and cause getting Kenneth Murray,
Yeah.
Boomer Sooner.
And Sanborn.
getting Kenneth Murray shores up a position, but it doesn't improve it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they need to improve defensive line.
Well, I agree, but I think that based on what they have on the roster right now, shoring up is improving because they have nothing. Behind the three guys they got, they have nothing.
I think they also need to cover their bases a little bit. And this is kind of trending towards what you're saying, like, hey, you can't go into the draft saying we need to get this guy. But I also think the beautiful thing about the draft is in certain positions, you can target, hey, we have to have this, but also later in the draft, and you should be able to get a fill of where you're going. And defensive line, I think, is one of them, especially
defensive tackles quality.
Especially in this year. How many were at the
I
combine?
think it's 40 or 45 at the combine.
And I think that they also need to get someone that gives them insurance for the Mozzie Smith situation, because I don't think Mozzie obviously has been what everyone hoped he would be. I think they need to get a big run-stuffing defensive tackle.
Girth.
I think they need girth. And I think the three guys that I'm kind of thinking for the Cowboys specifically, Texas, Alfred Collins.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ohio State's Tyleek Williams. And I think Oregon's Jamarie Caldwell. I think they need big dudes that can stop the run, that have the athleticism to play both nose and kind of a little bit defensive tackle more. Guys that are going to genuinely help them do what they said they were going to do in the offseason, stop the run. I don't think they've done enough to
And
address
stop the tush push.
and stop the tush push.
You can't stop the tush push.
I mean, bigger guys.
Ain't
They
no
got
stopping
bigger.
the tush
You
push.
need bigger guys.
No stopping the tush push. Can I double, triple, quadruple down on what you guys already said?
Yeah, for sure.
Because, I mean, part of me is like, we should pick other things. But I remember looking at last year, and I could not find a number for the entire year. But about halfway through the year, I was looking at numbers for how often defensive tackles are double teamed.
Mm-hmm.
And Osa was on the list. A lot of guys on the list are nose tackles, because just think about the way that football, and I'm not teaching you guys, just the general public. Think about the way that you line up in football.
Right.
My 330-pounder is between your center and your guard.
Right.
Quarterback is right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
My other defensive tackle, my Osa D tackle, is lined up on the outside shoulder of your other guard.
Right.
He's further away.
Right.
And Osa was getting double teamed considerably more than your nose tackle.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to be able to eat in that scenario. You got to have somebody that, when a 295-pound center who has to snap the ball and then block you is doing it by himself.
Yeah.
Eat. And I think that helps everybody.
Yeah,
That
the
helps
problem
Micah,
was
that helps Osa.
the guy that you had there.
Couldn't eat.
He didn't move until the ball actually got to the quarterback's hands, and it sounds silly.
No, Mozzie was a laid-off snap guy.
but if the ball gets to the quarterback hands and you still are in your stance, you've lost.
Yeah. He also didn't seem to play as strong as he lifted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's a big weight room. He's a big, strong guy, but he didn't play to that strength. It didn't seem like he played to that strength, because whenever he gets off, if you're as strong as he's purported to be, and as a freak as he was supposed to be coming out of college,
Hey, Cowboys, stop drafting off of a Bruce Feldman article.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go off the tape.
I'm just saying, though, to be an athletic freak, it didn't show.
Yeah. It's the same thing with the Matthew Golden Texas wide receiver conversation of like, yeah, he ran a 4.29, but that is not a 4.29 player in terms of speed.
Yeah.
Like, that's not to say that Matthew
But
Golden's
he's
a bad
highly
player.
productive.
No, I agree.
Good
What I'm
player.
saying,
He's highly productive.
I'm using an example.
Highly-ish.
You can't say
900 yards or
Yeah,
whatever.
he was
They're like 5 receivers.
You know who's
I mean, they
highly
got-
productive is
they
Tetairoa
moved- they had 2
McMillan.
running, they had 5 receivers, 5. I mean, they got a lot of guys.
Tetairoa McMillan is highly productive. That's highly productive.
Yeah, that's productive.
Yeah.
What? Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, for me, I've said this since we kind of started, and yes, I make jokes about the Omarion Hampton, and yes, I make light about being a receiver and wanting a receiver. But I stand 10 toes down on this, as the young people would say. The Cowboys got to get offensive line. They got to get offensive line. There's still so many questions. There's still questions about the only thing that the offensive line isn't truly a question is Tyler Smith.
Yep.
Like that is open and shut, good to go. Everywhere else is a question mark for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, yes, you have to stop the run, and yes, you have to stop the pass. But if you don't secure that offensive line, and now you can't do what you want to do offensively, your quarterback doesn't have time, routes don't have time to develop, you're not able to get a running game going. When you look at the schedule that you're going to be playing this year, you got to find some offensive linemen that can go and give you productivity from day one. I'm not buying the project that is at least at left tackle. I'm not buying the project of Tyler Guyton at left tackle. I've seen already what Terrence Hill is, at least in the passing game. It is way below average. Much better in the run game. I make the jokes about Brock Hoffman and being nasty and that kind of stuff, but nasty ain't a skill. Nasty ain't a skill. And what happens when you meet somebody else that's nasty with a skill? You lose. Like nasty's not a skill.
Nasty is something you hope to have with the guy whose scouting report reads.
Right.
Awesome.
Like nasty can't be something you really like hang your hat on.
Yeah.
No.
And it's my understanding if Chuba doesn't get hurt in camp, he may be the starting left tackle to open the season last year, which speaks a lot.
I think that goes into why I'm terrified of their plan, because I do believe that their plan, that they will not use the 12th pick on a guy that's going to play left tackle. They won't do it. And it just sunk cost. If Tyler Guyton can find a way to start somewhere on your line, that's cool. Like, you're not kicking him off the team. But the idea that he is the left tackle, based on what you've seen so far, I guess just bad planning to try to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. Like, if I'm trying to win the Super Bowl, you can't make that off limits. It's too important of a job to make off limits to upgrade today.
Yeah.
But I fear that it is off limits.
I think they view Awesome Richards too as potentially the Chuma replacement, as a guy that, like, hey, oh God, Tyler's struggling again. Maybe just throw Awesome in there and he can handle it. The other position, by the way, they need, like, must have. They don't have one right now. The slot corner. Like, they don't have a slot corner, and I think that they're going to have to get a run defensive guy in the slot. I think Jahdae Barron at 12 would be fine for that reason. I know there's arm length concerns, but I think he's a stud. The other couple guys, North Carolina guy, Elijah Huzzie, I think would be.
He's a Huzzie?
Yep, Elijah Huzzie, Huzzie. I think he would be a good pick later on for slot corner, or one of my guys, Jabbar Muhammad from Oregon, DeSoto. I think he'd be good.
I do like the names. Like, if you're going to get a guy named Huzzie, then I want him to pick that guy whose last name is Tootin to be our running back.
Tootin and Huzzie.
Tootin and Huzzie.
They could have Huzzie and Hooker in the defensive secondary.
I'm sorry?
Huzzie and a Hooker in the defensive secondary.
They would have Huzzie and a Hooker in the secondary.
Yeah, well, it's just Hooker. It's not Huzzie and the Hooker. It's Hooker. It's his name.
I said Huzzie and a Hooker. I said Huzzie.
Not a Hooker.
A Huzzie
His name
and a
is
Hooker. A Huzzie and a Hooker.
Okay, what were you doing when you were trying to do this?
Well, you said something about trying to win a Super Bowl. If they're truly trying to win a Super Bowl.
They're trying to win a Super Bowl.
Are they really trying to win a Super Bowl?
Yes, they're trying to win a Super Bowl.
What evidence have you seen the last two off seasons that they're trying to win a Super Bowl?
I mean, just that they are a football team in the
Other
NFL.
than them saying it. Other than them saying it, what evidence have you seen of them trying to win a Super Bowl?
They're trying to win a Super Bowl the way that they think they're going to win a Super Bowl.
Trying to backdoor a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Kind of fall into it. Backdoor their way into a Super Bowl, Jesse.
Man, well, how well you got to get it, man. Whatever
fall into a trip and fall.
Whatever floats
I
your
tripped
boat.
and fell.
Hamzone said in the super chat, best player available, position be damned. I mostly agree. Mostly agree. Position matters. But yeah. When you
want you're talking about at 12, but you want the best player available for sure.
At 12, yeah.
And in a perfect world, I'd love if the best player available played a $40 million position.
But of course, we all know. See, that's the thing about it is it's gonna be funny.
What did you say?
No, you're supposed to say it's funny, and then
You
we
didn't say
say
it's
it's better
funny.
be funny.
We all
say
know
it's
that
funny.
position does matter because if the best player available at 12 is a quarterback, they're not taking it.
Well, and the best player available at 12, according to a lot of analysts, will probably be a tight end.
Right.
Because a lot of people have two tight ends as two of the top 8 to 10 players in this class, and you're not gonna pick that either. I don't think.
And I don't think they're if the best player available was a guard, you're not taking a guard.
I hope they're open to it. I hope they're open to it. And that's what I wonder. Are they not open to an offensive lineman with the first pick?
I think tackle is different. I just don't think you take a guard that high since you're going by position.
Coming up next, what do we know about what the Cowboys are hoping to do defensively? This is 2 scoops. It's your second scoop of the day, and it's next on the DLLS Cowboys Podcast.
I'll tell you about my friends at Timeline. They have their what do we call that word? That P word? Proprietary.
What time is it? Timeline.
No, that's not it.
Okay.
But the timeline is important because they use their proprietary MitoPure. And what that does, as you get older and older and older, the body doesn't respond like it once did before. And so what this MitoPure helps you do, it helps rejuvenate the cells. It helps you have endurance. It strengthens you. It gives you all the things that you need. 15 years of research that they have done. All you got to do is you go to timeline.com. Use the promo code DLLS and you can get 10% off a subscription to Timeline. You need it. If you're getting up there in age like myself, like Jeff, Joe's still a little bit of young buck, and like Pop, Timeline gives you a chance to extend the good life. So head over to timeline.com. Use the promo code DLLS.
Lucy. Shout out to my friend Lucy. I like that my Lucy, what it is it's 100% pure nicotine. It's a pouch. They have gum too. They have the breaker ones where it's got a little capsule in there. You go, and they get you a little more hydration and flavor.
Okay.
I like that on the back they have the instructions for what you
How to do it.
You got to place it there, sit back, relax, and enjoy the flavor. Keep in your mouth until effects fade. Toss it. Got the instructions right there for you on the Lucy's. Yeah, so it's 100% pure nicotine. It's delicious. It's helped me. I'm now about a month, mostly, with no tobacco. Just my friends at Lucy, the nicotine. So many different flavors. It's lovely. I like it a lot. Here's the fine print, though. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical, and it's delicious. It is so tasty and delicious. All right, segment 3 of the broadcast today on the DLLS Cowboys Podcast.
Make sure we hit that like button.
Or else, not a threat.
TC, can you scroll all the way down?
Wait, for chats?
Yeah, let's see what people.
See what the most recent chats are?
Yeah, what are they talking about?
Oh, look at Knight in the super chat. When you're a traits guy and you miss. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you go chasing after a premium position guy that has good traits but wasn't a great player, yeah, you don't want to do that either. You just want a perfect prospect. That's all I want.
Yeah, you're right, Nesto. Pop forgot to say it's funny. He jumped right over the funny part and went to the second part of it.
Yeah.
It's that old age. He just forgets stuff sometimes. We love him still.
I think it was a strategic move. I kind of respect it. He's just like, I'm going to take it out of your guys' hands.
Eminem dust right there, little 8 Mile.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Mo said, Jeff, turn that hat around, you punk. LOL. You look like a kid from San.
I always wear backwards hats.
I'll get you to Cottonwood Creek Marina then. All right. What am I going to do? Free advertising for my friend's marina? Let's try not to give them free advertising. Now
Like a kid from Sandlot.
That's what?
At Lake Louisville.
Yeah, that's my buddy Hunter's.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was supposed to get on the boat with him.
Yeah. Okay. I believe you.
No.
Shout out to Hunter.
Shout out to Hunter.
Anybody else going to be on the boat?
Shout out to the shout-outs. What do we know about what the Cowboys are hoping to do defensively? Clarence tried to do this in the first segment for no reason because it was the third segment. But now, Clarence, you can tell us what you know.
You were making adjustments, and I thought you were moving the whole third segment to the first segment.
I moved the whole second segment to the first segment.
My bad. My bad.
It better be bad.
Never beat
No,
the
I
allegation.
respect. Yeah,
boy.
hands up. Hands up accountability.
My bad.
That was the actions of a 60-year-old is what that was.
Making mistakes?
Yep.
You guys make mistakes too. I just want to let the record show mistakes.
I just like
no
that you stopped
age.
because I shook you up that much.
Age has no mistake anyway.
Man, just take accountability and move on. Why you got to put it back on us? You made the mistake.
Yeah, why are you deflecting now?
Don't deflect it now. You made the mistake. You take full accountability.
You owned it and shot it back out.
In there.
I'm
Y'all
just
make
saying,
mistakes too.
y'all making about age proprietary. Anyway,
I just want everybody to know that the tweet that I got about Clarence the other day is the most true thing of all time.
What was it?
Somebody said something along the lines of like, "Oh, they were hiding Clarence at the paper."
Oh, yeah.
That man needs to be on the microphone.
Yes.
Crushing. You're
Yes.
crushing, Clarence.
Thank you. I didn't see that tweet. Retweet me.
Oh.
Anyway,
Retweet you. Allegations. Go
my
ahead.
understanding, my thing, you bring in Matt Eberflus, and I just want to know how they're going to. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about. You talked to all the defensive line. We're going to attack. We're going to get to the quarterback. Attack. Aggressive. Attack.
Damn it, Joe. What, Joe?
No, you guys, me and TC, no. Okay.
Oh,
Go ahead.
Attack. I'm like, how y'all going to stop the run?
Mozzie.
That's what I want to know. How you going to stop the run? Everybody's attacking, getting upfield. And it's my understanding that, obviously it's about your lanes, your rush lanes, and, understanding your assignments. But it's also about 11 people attacking, 11 people stopping the run. It won't be just Mozzie and the linebackers. The secondary has to tackle. One quote I was told was, there's no such thing as a cover corner in Matt Eberflus's defense. Everybody has to tackle. Corners have to be physical and have to tackle.
I can't think of anyone that makes me think of.
Which brings us back to these nuts conversation from this past year.
I'm sorry? He's
That was
right.
seamless.
He is right.
That was seamless. You're right.
No, he is right, technically.
No, that was seamless.
Jesse just wasn't ready for D's nuts out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, it was a big thing on during the football season after the San Francisco game.
Oh, I know. I filmed it.
Yeah. When Trayvon Diggs got mad at Mike Leslie because Mike Leslie was questioning Trayvon Diggs and his ability to tackle, even in a game where Trayvon Diggs, for the first time in his career, was really tackling his ass off. In a season, he was tackling his ass off. So Trayvon Diggs got really mad for the way that he was portrayed, and he yelled at Mike Leslie. And Mike Leslie was like, well, tell me about the play. And he was like, these nuts.
on a play, actually, he did the right thing.
Yeah, he did.
He was playing like, all right, if he cuts back, I'm right here.
And he'd been tackling all year.
Yeah.
Yes, he
Well,
been
the
tackling.
game. I don't know about all year.
More
Yeah.
than usual.
Yeah, more than usual. But so this whole Diggs has to tackle whenever he gets back. He has to tackle for this run defense to be successful because there's so much talk about the pass rush and what they've done. But the house that's on fire right now for the Cowboys is their run defense.
I'm gonna
And
throw
that is-
out. I'm gonna throw out a couple of names that you make me think of when you say that. And Joe said one of them earlier. Like the Cowboys need some help in the secondary, and one of them I wasn't planning to say here, but I do think it actually makes sense, and I wouldn't hate it at 12 either. Texas Jahdae Barron's a physical son of.
Yes.
Like he'll hit.
Yeah.
He'll play. He's here for it. You could put that dude in the nickel, and now you have a nickel corner or a slot corner, if you will.
If you will.
If you will. And the other guy who isn't a slot corner, but he can play it, and he can play in the box, and he can play over the top. And people are kind of maybe dropping him a little bit from where he was before the season started because he got hurt. And Malachi Starks will hit you.
Oh, I like that.
Georgia safety Malachi Starks,
Yeah.
who was projected to be a top 10 pick before this season started, and then he had some get banged up, and he has some moments on tape. You're like, whoopsie.
Yeah.
So
But
is he more safety than
he plays
His slot?
all of it, but he plays safety. Like he plays safety, but he does line up in the slot some, and he can play man in the slot, and he can play deep, and he can come down and hit. Like I think people are overthinking Malachi Starks and the South Carolina safety if he gets picked before him. I think that the team that does that will regret it. I think because
at that 6'3" corner?
I
That's
think,
from South Carolina.
No, it's Imawarrior, the guy that plays like safety but comes down in the box.
Okay.
Too.
yeah, he plays safety and he's 230 pounds. And he
He's a
ran a
freak
4.3
athlete.
and
Yeah.
he's a
Okay.
phenomenal athlete. And Malachi Starks had a pretty pedestrian combine. But when you talk to me about secondary players, I want to have the best athletes on the field everywhere.
Yeah.
But I think the most important thing is how do you anticipate? How do you see it? How is your spatial awareness, your route recognition, all of those things? And I think Malachi Stark's football IQ is through the roof.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to be the guy that if he ends up being like a late one or a second round pick in a class that doesn't have the premier guys at the top, we're going to look back and be like, how the hell did somebody not pick him at 9 in this draft?
Yeah.
And so that's just a name that I thought of when you talk about secondary guys and you have to tackle, but we obviously do want to cover.
Yeah.
Jahdae Barron, Malachi Starks. I'm just throwing out names.
Yeah, Eberflus was at his pro day too.
Yeah.
Okay.
At Malachi Starks. Yeah.
Got a little read to him too.
Yeah. Here's some other names though that I think are interesting.
Better be.
Better be interesting.
Interesting.
I think when you think of Matt Eberflus's corners, you think of Jalen Johnson in Chicago. You think of that kind of hard-hitting, kind of ball hawk kind of guy that can just make some plays. And if you look at one player that was compared to Jalen Johnson coming out of the draft, that was Kyer Elam. His NFL draft comp was Jalen Johnson. They obviously went and acquired him and brought him in. And another guy that was compared from an absolute just like physical trait standpoint on mock draftable.
Was that some water over there?
They got water?
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, here's another
I didn't
one.
know if you're carrying
No, here's another one. I'll carry
Okay,
two.
carrying
Here, this has got to be heavier on this one. Another guy that got compared to him on mock draftable, the most comparable player there is, was Andrew Booth, who's also on the roster. So I think in terms of like types of corners they want, I'm not saying that they're going to be Jalen Johnson. I'm saying that
as long as you're two-hand water.
No,
you're
we're
fine.
two-hand. Here we go.
Yeah,
here we go.
Stone Cold.
I think that that's who they wanted to bring in just to have.
Yeah.
Like I think that they look at these guys as like, okay, they're not Jalen Johnson, right, at all. But Trayvon Diggs is not going to start the season probably for the Cowboys. So what do we have here that can kind of at least replicate from a schematic standpoint what we want? NFL coaches do this all the time. College coaches, high school coaches do this all the time. They typecast what they want in certain positions and say, okay, who can I fit this square peg into this square hole? They don't like to like go out of their norm and do things of circles into square pegs. No, they like to do, can this guy do this? And I think that those are two guys that are on the roster right now that I think that they would feel comfortable. Just this is context. This is not sourcing. Putting in that spot in the meantime. Or at least competing for it.
Yeah, and I think it's useful to know what coaches like to do and what they're looking for players at certain positions and everything. Like that's why they talk about things like height or arm length with corners. And like I want my guys that we're going to Eberflus. We're going to play a deep third a lot of the time, and so length is good and blah 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 and all those things. But more of me hates all of that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like find the best football players. Now make your defense.
I agree with that.
Don't tell me this is what I do.
But
I'm going to keep the best players, and
but
now
that's
you
what-
call a defense.
But that's coaching. Like coaching finds a system that works for you. What did you come up in? Who was your?
I hate that.
But that's just that.
Like,
that's,
what about I'm playing them this week? This is what they like to do. Therefore, this is what we're doing this week.
Yeah,
I'm a cover 3 guy. We rush 4. Like we're going to beat that team this week.
Yeah.
No, that's not pro coaching.
I know, and I hate it.
You'll have some that'll adjust. Like Bill Belichick would be a coach that adjusts. Like it was literally week in and week out. Here's what we're going to do, and we're going to fit guys into those spots to do so. But for the most part, guys like that don't exist.
But generally, you can't adjust for one player. I mean, you have a system in place, and so you're not going to adjust your scheme weekly for one player.
I would stop you right there and say, why?
Why
There's
you
a
can't adjust-
system in place.
Because
why?
If I got everybody planted this system, I recruited or drafted them to play this scheme, and one player can't play it, and you say I should adjust for that one player?
No, what I'm saying is I don't want you to say that this is my scheme.
Yeah.
You think there's a guy coming to the NFL that can't run cover 4, cover 2, man, cover 3? Like,
well, I mean,
I don't need you to
It's just like we talked about.
We're playing that team this week.
It's like we talked about Brandon Carr. Okay, if your defense is a man-to-man defense, and you sign a guy who's a zone corner, that's not what he does best. That's not what made him successful. I mean, you do have schemes. Okay, there are some defenses that are predicated on man. Some defenses are predicated on zone. Don't sign a man corner making play zone. Don't sign a zone corner trying to make him play man.
I mean, if you're a zone corner and you can't cover people in man, like, I don't want you on my team.
Well, come on now. Everybody's not just good in this. I mean, we've had this. That's an age-old conversation. It's big. It's funny because the big conversation on Twitter all weekend about Asante Samuel trying to act like he's good as Deion Sanders. Okay, there's a big conversation about your Robert. What's your boy in with Seattle? Sherman. He was his own corner, and he compares himself to some of the top man corners. You're not asked to. I mean, he's a great corner. He's going to be a Hall of Fame corner, but he's his own corner. He's not asked to do what Deion was asked to do, take away one side of the field. Everybody can't play the same, but can't do the same thing.
If you tell me that there is a great football player, but he wouldn't work in my defense, I would say your defense is the problem.
I agree.
That's what I would say. Like, if I got a great defensive end, a great safety, a great line, great whatever, and it's like, yeah, but he can't run my defense. defense. Well, then you need to be more adaptable. I want awesome football players, and then you figure it out. Not we run cover 3, we rush 4, we attack. No, this week we play Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We're going to load the box.
You played the game. All awesome football players can't play every scheme.
Yeah, but I was thinking in my head, that kind of goes against your nature of you want the best football player.
No, I agree. I'm just talking about theoretically, though. When you everybody can't play the same. I hear you. I want the best football players, but they can't play every scheme.
I want corners who want to tackle and can cover people. And if you can cover people, I bet I can teach you to run backwards and cover a deep third.
And I'll say this, tackling is not a skill.
That's
It's
a
like
want-to.
It's a want-to.
Right.
Same as pass protection for running backs.
Yes. It is a absolute want-to. I want to physically harm the man carrying the football.
And we're also not adding football IQ to this because there are guys who can run, who can tackle, but who are not smart.
Yeah. There's guys who can't do
And
any of
what
that
do
but
you
are
do?
smart.
So you limit what you can do with that guy because he doesn't diagnose things the same way.
Calvin.
I know. I saw this.
What?
Someone called you Calvin.
If I were Calvin,
Do you need to check me,
and
Calvin?
this dude Jeff kept trying to make me feel stupid on there, I'd have to check him. Check this Jeff cat. Calvin?
I think he's going to have to check you because his name is Clarence, and then he could punch me.
And you should probably do what your name says to do.
Oh!
It's all good. I appreciate you got my back, minding my own.
Let's go.
Me and Jeff good.
I hope I don't
We
try to
wanna
make anybody feel
we-
stupid. I'm just fighting about what I think about.
No.
It just drives me nuts that defensive coaches in the NFL are like, this is what we do.
Yeah, no
And I'm
doubt.
like, what about what the other team does and we going to stop them? That's what I want to do.
I agree.
Coming up next, it is a Magic Marker Monday.
Yes, sir.
We're going to take a look at the NFC East off seasons, grade them up. How do the Cowboys stack up? That's next on the DLLS Cowboys Podcast. And we also want to encourage you to sign up to be a diehard. Now's a real good time for it with the draft coming up, with Rangers opening day coming up on Thursday, with our golf tournament coming up at the end of April. When you sign up to be a diehard at alldlls.com/diehard, there are over 1,000 of you now, which is amazing. There's almost 20,000 of you subscribed on YouTube. So tell your friends and your family, your aunties, your sisters, all of the people.
What your mama look like?
There you go. Sign up to be a diehard, and what you get is you get a free t-shirt when you first do that, which is awesome, from our merch store. You get 20% off any other merch in the merch store, which is awesome. You get 20% off events that we throw, including our golf tournament, which ain't free. So that 20% off, pretty good number there. So yeah, sign up to be a diehard. You get access to all of our premium level diehard content on the website. You get an ad-free experience on the website. We have a Discord that is for diehards only, where we hang out. It's a great place to hang out during games or to chat with other diehards about movies, TV, food. Working on a feet. Don't have it yet. I did do a foot workout today. It was part of my mobility training. It was you do the weight in the big toes and then the other 8 toes. And
I
then the
saw
big
the
toes.
prettiest set of feet this weekend.
What color?
On Discord?
Polish?
It was clear polish, white French tip,
Oh.
thin white French tip though.
Ooh.
She had on the Birkin sandals, like the Birkenstock sandals.
Ooh.
In the donut shop. The
Ooh,
donut
that knocks you down a point.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, slim,
Toes out in the donut shop?
slim.
No, I'm not saying. I wasn't guessing at size. I was just thinking
Yeah.
in a donut shop. I don't know if I want my feet breathing the fresh air in a donut shop.
Why?
Because I feel like the traffic in and out of the donut shop, I don't trust.
Maybe some sprinkles might fall on them toes. You know what I'm saying? Maybe
And
a
then
little
what
bit
you
of
gonna
that-
do?
A little strawberry.
What you gonna do with the
that
sprinkles
little-
falling on your toes? What you gonna do?
What you gonna do? That jelly from
What
the
you gonna
donut fall right
do?
on that big toe. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Fall on that thing.
Okay. NFC
Jeff,
East off seasons.
Before we dive into the segment, TC, can you just pull that up really quick? We got to share with the masses.
I mean,
Oh, we have a thing.
That just killed me.
Yeah,
See? You saw they do me?
Yo.
Mind my own business. You saw they do me?
You better check him.
You saw they do
That's
me?
bullying.
You better check
G
him.
from Jersey. That's a good tweet.
That's
You saw
Put
they do
Clarence's
me?
face on the Liberty basketball coach who had a questionable hairline and hair
You
decision.
saw they do me?
Damn.
That'd be like if you went to Turkey.
Michael's in the super chat. Who is the Kelvin Joseph of this draft?
Oh, wow.
I mean, it has to be Luther Burden. And I don't mean that I know anything about him off field, but Luther Burden is the name, the wide receiver out of Missouri that 2 months ago, it's like, yeah, is he the first receiver drafted? Then it's like, oh, maybe he's getting picked in the teens. Oh, maybe in the 20s. Oh, he's not in anyone's mock draft anymore. And I don't know what's changed. It ain't his tape.
I just want to bring back something from the last segment real quick. You know, from schemes, the Philadelphia defense coordinator just won the Super Bowl. His scheme didn't work in Miami. Worked in Denver, didn't work in Miami. Miami ran him off after 1 year. You know, I'm just saying that coaches coach their scheme and they find players to fit their scheme.
No, I'm not arguing that that's what happens, but I think we watch offensively people change and innovate all the time, and then defensively we talk about if a guy runs cover 2 or cover 3, or if he does.
Jason Garrett against Miami when Agent Claiborne has 6 sacks. He said, this is what we do.
Right. Well, maybe don't.
Coaches do that guy. They do that all the time. though. You still draft to your. At some point, you have to. If you believe in your system, you have to draft to your system.
I understand at least the idea that at positions there are reasons we have certain things we're looking for because of what they're usually going to be asked to do. But just like when Brandon Carr got torched by Calvin Johnson, my D coordinator wouldn't let that happen. After the first 100 yards, I'd be like, hey, I know our plan was you've got him. That's not going to work.
We're paying you $50 million, boy. You better cover somebody.
Nope. That's not how my coach is going to work. My coach is going to say, and now we're going to help you because he's kicking our ass.
And then Jared said, why are we paying that guy $50 million to give him help?
I think that's what the Cowboys are going to do with Osa this year. They're going to have him play because they paid him so much money. They're going to have him play that spot that we keep talking about need to get filled. And they're going to be wrong.
Which spot?
That nose.
Osa's not playing
He's too small.
Okay.
TB is in the super chat. To Jeff's point, good teams would run the ball nonstop against us regardless of their scheme because they knew we couldn't stop the run. Game plan better than scheme. Yeah, and I think offensively you see it more than defensively. And defensively, I would like to see that more in the National Football League. NFC East. Okay, Jesse, hit me. What are we doing?
All right, so we're going to just do this. We haven't had a Magic Markham Monday for a while, and kind of we're kind of on the tail end of free agency, getting 1 month away from the draft. So the first thing that you want to do in your offseason preparation is how can I build my team to win my division? So we're going to go through the NFC East division, and we're going to just give a grade on how that particular team did in signing some of their own and signing some free agents this offseason.
Okay.
All right. So we're going to start. We're going to start from the least and work our way to the best.
Okay, so we're going to start with Philly.
Least. We're starting with the least.
It's still Philadelphia. Like
They're not the least.
No, or the worst, the team who finished worst last year, or just
Yeah, that's the least to me.
Oh, I thought we were doing the worst city or place to live or
No,
people.
no.
Okay, sorry.
All right. So
Yeah.
all right. So
Start with the Giants.
So first up, the New York Football Giants, and then I'll go through some of the guys that they re-signed, some of the guys that they had in free agency or traded, whatever, what have you, and then you'll give them a grade at the end of this, and you can feel free to comment anywhere that you want. All right. So the Giants, they re-signed their offensive tackle Greg Van Roten. They signed Javon Holland. They signed Paulson
Adebo.
Paulson Adebo. They agreed to terms with defensive lineman Jeremiah Ledbetter. They re-signed Darius Slayton. Of course, they went and they signed from the Dallas Cowboys Chauncey Golston. They signed back. They signed. I'm going to mess his name up. Smith. It doesn't matter. He's not really a good player.
I wouldn't worry about that.
Yeah, he's not a good player.
If you don't recognize.
Yeah. Not going to get linebacker C.J. Board and defensive tackle Roy Robinson Harris. And of course, they signed back their quarterback Tommy DeVito, and then they signed our favorite quarterback Jameis Winston. From the names that you heard, and Timon Fox as well, outside linebacker. He's a Tar Heel, so I can't forget him.
Stop it.
What grade would you give?
Jeez.
What grade would you give the Giants?
I give the Giants an A+.
We have a wild.
It don't work.
Mine don't work.
I gave the Giants an A+ because they signed Jameis. I think if you suck, it's important to have fun. and that'll be fun. In real life, I'd give him like a C because that's a really boring offseason for a really boring team that's not any good.
I gave him
a
D. There's nothing that excites me about what they did.
I like some of the things they did. I think when you get Javon Holland to be the safety that I think that they were missing for a little bit, you look at what the Giants have. They have a pretty darn good front seven. Okay, and they needed to fix some stuff in the secondary, so they got a starting safety who was one of the best safeties in the league last year in terms of Pro Football Focus. They got a starting corner in Paulson Debo who was okay. And then I think getting Chauncey Golson for the price they did, that's perfect when you pair that with the defensive line they already have. I think you put Chauncey Golson, when you looked at it, he was at his best when he was next to Micah Parsons. Okay, now you put him next to either Kayvon Thibodeau or Brian Burns. I think that they actually had a really solid offseason. They didn't have to do too much in terms of spending to actually get there. I like it.
Plus Jameis.
Jameis is going to be good in New York City.
D for me.
All right. Next up, your very own Dallas Cowboys. Now, we all know the players that the Cowboys lost. Zach Martin's retired. DeMarcus Lawrence is in Seattle. Brandon Cooks is in New Orleans. Jordan Lewis and Chuma is in Jacksonville. Rico is in Carolina. And, of course, Chauncey Golson is in New York. And you lost your quarterback, Cooper Rush. The Cowboys, they signed Paris Campbell, Dakota Shepley, Dante Fowler Jr., Miles Sanders, Israel. They re-signed Israel Ukwamu, Kenneth Murray, Jack Saborn, Kyrie Elam. They re-signed Anger. They brought in Peyton Turner, re-signed Kavontae Turpin, brought in Solomon Thomas, Robert Jones, Javonte Williams. Then they re-signed their own players, Trent Sieg, Marquise Bell, Wanye Thomas, Tyrese Wheat, Brock Hoffman, CJ Goodwin, and Osa Odigizua. What grade would you give the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. So they got like a 72.
I think they
passed.
shored up some positions, shored up some holes. I don't know how much they improved. They shored up some things. Linebacker, running back, defensive line.
So C minus, C minus, C. Yeah, I think they did what they had to do, fill in a depth chart to try to go draft, but they didn't do anything in terms of adding players. I don't want to say they didn't add players that can help you win, but you added players that if you didn't do more in the draft at some of these spots, you would still go in the season and go, oh, crap.
Yeah.
So you kind of half-ass are ready to draft. That's kind of where they're at.
All right, next up, your Washington Commanders. Some of the guys that they re-signed, their tight end, Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner, their other tight end, John Bates, the kicker, their punter, backup running back, 2 backup running backs for them. They signed back the quarterback killer for the Cowboys, Marcus Mariota, and
Go Ducks.
Michael Dieter. They signed back. And then they had some trade moves. The big one in the offseason, Debo Samuels that they signed, Laramie Tunsil from the Houston Texans they brought in. And then they went and signed Javon Kinlaw, Will Harris, Eddie Goldman, Dietrich Wise, KJ Osborne are some of the guys that they signed this offseason. Where would you give, what grade would you give the Washington Commanders?
Washington is a team that's trying to win. They're trying to go for it. They got a rookie quarterback. They got the NFC title game. Whether you like the moves or not, they're a team that is trying to go for the gold right now this year. Chips all in.
I'm nitpicking. I think that some of the deals they did were a little too pricey, frankly, but I think that they did things to get done. That's why it was an A- instead of an A. I'm nitpicking.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I went even lower. I went with a B. Like, I think Debo's probably semi-washed.
Yeah.
I think some of the things
Is he
that
better
they were
than
too
what
much.
they had?
But to that point, like, they overpaid intentionally, knowing they probably were overpaying at some spots because they're trying to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
But is Debo better than
they
what they
overpaid.
had?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
All right, quickly, we'll do this one. Some key departures from Philadelphia, who was the division champions last year: Mekhi Becton, Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, James Bradbury, Darius Slay, and others like Kenneth Gainwell. Some additions: Azeez Ojulari, Avery Williams, Patrick Johnson, Adoree Jackson, Harrison Bryant, Josh Uche, A.J. Dillon, Kenyon Green, and Dorian Thompson Robinson. What do you think the Philadelphia Eagles
I guess
grade?
they got a D.
Yeah, F minus.
But they're going to improve with their draft picks. They're focusing on their draft picks to replace some of the guys that lost. They didn't do much to improve their team. They didn't do anything to improve their team.
But you can't do that when they're in the caps. And then I think that they did some things that were impressive. I think getting Azeez Ojulari on a 1 year more $4 million deal is fantastic. I think that could be their Zach Bond of this year. I think they got Zach Bond back. I didn't expect that to happen.
I appreciate your analysis, Joe.
But also,
I gave them an F-
Because you hate them.
because F Philly. Everybody, thanks for stopping by. Hit the like and subscribe on the way out. And remember, you have no idea what anybody's going through, so be cool to everybody. We love you. Be easy.
Eliminate the contingency.
We all silly like the mayor.